Friends, hello and welcome on TechGuruSpeaks.com. Today I would like to describe one topic from Java multi-threaded programming, that is about running multiple threads together. It is an interesting concept to follow, so let's explore this topic now. We can create and run multiple threads together in a Java program. We just give each thread a new object. Say for example, some new threads are created and each one prints out its name once in a half second, say for example 500 millisecond. So that can be done by using the thread.sleep that we have already seen in the previous tutorials related to Java thread programming. Now suppose in this example that I mentioned just now, we don't have control over threads, and that I have explained in the previous classes also, because it will have different execution sequence in terms of its running. And but the thing is that the case is a little bit different from that of the previous ones. In the previous examples we are having only one user thread, but here we may have more than one user thread. So now here we are unable to wait until a thread is done executing before going on with the rest of the program. Say for example, we may think of main being the host thread and all the other user threads are considered to be the guest thread. So basically, if the main thread is having a fewer number of statements to execute, it might finish its execution long before the guest threads, that means the user threads, completed their execution. So that is the thing that I would like to point out here. So that is a normal case. So that means what? If the main method, I mean to say by means of its main thread, is having a fewer lines of code to execute, and the code statement inside the user threads are big enough, so the main thread will be finished executing long before the guest threads completes their execution. That means the main thread will not wait for others to finish. So that is the feature that I would like to point out here. So that is a normal case. I am talking it repeatedly. But by using the thread classes join method, which basically waits until a thread is finished executing, also called waiting for a thread to die before returning. That means by using the join method, we can make the main thread wait, provided if it is having a fewer lines of code to execute, for the other threads to finish. As a result, the new threads are created and they wait for each one to finish executing before ending in the main application. So that is the idea. Now we can also check whether a thread is still active or not using the isAlive method. So that is the idea. So we will now demonstrate the concept by using the NetBeans IDE, which is one of the most popular IDEs for Java programming. So now let's move to the NetBeans IDE for coding demonstration. So now moving to the NetBeans IDE for the program demonstration that we normally do. So we have the NetBeans IDE here. So now I'll be trying to demonstrate the idea by using this program. Suppose we are having a class named custom thread. It is basically having the similar kind of syntax that we have used for the creation of thread using the implements runnable option. So it is having the similar kind of structure. So here we are having a reference of the thread class. So using the similar kind of concept by using the runnable target together with a string name, we have called the fourth overloaded version of the thread class constructor to create an object of the thread class, because we know unless we create an object of the thread class, we don't be able to, I mean to say, we won't be able to call the start method. And if we are not calling the start method, the thread will not be put into the ready to run state, and it is the main requirement for running a thread, because the run method cannot be executed directly. Whenever it will be put into the ready to run state, whenever it is selected by the thread scheduler, it will be running, and whenever it is running, it is executing its run method. So that is the idea that we have seen also in the earlier codes, I mean to say in the earlier coding examples. So here we are having basically that kind of structure. It is named custom thread, but in the earlier programs I mean to say I used only one user thread, the main thread and the user thread. But here we are having four different thread objects on the same class construct. I mean to say we are now having four custom threads denoted by T1, T2, T3 and T4. Each of them are having their names like string name, first, second, third and fourth. Now whenever I will be trying to create the objects, it will be basically calling their respective constructor, and it will basically invoking the start method. As a result, the run method will be called, and the statements inside the body of the run method will be getting executed. I mean to say all of the threads will be having its run method to execute something. Say for example, here it will be printing its name 5 times because I am having a for loop inside the try block, and since I am pausing a currently executing thread object for half second, that is 500 milliseconds of time, that means it will be now put into the block state, that is in sleeping mode. Now whenever this time is over, within this time period, the other threads will be getting the chance to be executed, and whenever this time will be over, it will be put into the ready to run state from sleeping state. So that is the idea that I have already talked about in the Java thread lifecycle. So let's see what happens if I am running this program with the four user threads like custom thread T1 to T4 named first, second, third and fourth, and the main thread, like the main thread is having only two statements, like two SOP statements rather, I would say. It will be showing main started and it will be showing main ended. So it is the main thread associated with the main method. So that is the idea. So now just trying to run the program. So it will be showing main started, then it will be showing, now the program is giving its output in terms of a different kind of way, like I mean to say here I am following a different kind of approach. But the thing is that main, being the host thread, is not waiting for the guest thread, that means the user threads, to finish. It will be finishing its statements long before the host threads have finished their work. So we are basically now will be running some, better to say, will be now writing some code to gain some control over the threads execution. That means I mean to say I will make the code to be modified in such a way that main will be the last thread to be ended. So that is my objective, but here we are not getting this. So I have to use here the join method to make this main thread wait for other threads to die. That is the idea. Okay, so now I will be talking about the concept that I am using here, like the thread class reference as an instance field of the custom thread class, and how am I getting this kind of syntax, that I will be discussing. So remember that here we are having 4 new threads and they are created, and the main thread don't wait for them to finish executing. To be more precise, as the host thread, main must wait for others to finish. Now the line thread, say for example fast comma 5 comma main, what is the meaning in terms of the output? So the line in the output sequence indicates that the name of the thread is fast. So that is the first thing. Here 5 is the priority, means the normal priority, which is the default priority basically. And main, this line, basically this term, it is the third term here within the third bracket, denotes the thread group name to which this thread belongs. So as I have told before, that is main is the host thread and the others are the guest threads. I mean to say these 4 are the guest threads. So they will be known by the thread group main. So in that way, this line indicates the first is the name of the thread, that is fast here. 5 is the default priority, that will be denoted by the norm underscore priority. It's a constant field. And lastly, we are having the thread group name, that is main here. So the thing is that by using this kind of construct or code, I would say I'll be getting output like this. So it is basically an instance field. Okay, so try to remember this concept. So if I am writing here T, basically it is showing T started. That means thread first 5 main, that is started. Okay, so in that way it will be showing the output in terms of its execution. So it is somewhat different from that of the previous ones, since I have used this instance field in the definition of the custom thread class. So thread T is the instance field of the custom thread, and now it has been used as a reference to store the object being created by calling the fourth overloaded constructor of the thread class, because we know that unless we have the thread class object, we won't be able to call the start method, and by having the start method, the thread will be getting its chance to run, and whenever it will be running, the run method will be getting executed. That is the theory behind the threads execution in Java programming. So that is why we are getting that kind of output, because T means that is the currently executing thread object. So every time I'm writing here, I am writing here T only, but in the previous state I have been writing like thread.currentState.getName, but here I am not using the getName method. So if I am using this kind of technique by means of the say object reference T, it will be showing the output by means of this kind of technique, like thread within third bracket first, that is the name, then comes the default priority which indicates the norm underscore priority, and lastly the thread group to which this thread belongs. So it is a different technique of showing a particular thread, that means the current thread being executed, so without using the getName method. Okay, so try to remember this thing. Now we will be trying to solve this problem. That means you would like to gain some control over the threads by using the join and isAlive method that I have discussed just now. So now I will be doing it. So I have modified the code a bit, like here I would like to know what is the status of the thread T1 after being created. So I will be writing here T1. T1 is the object of the thread class. It is having an instance field T, which is basically a reference of the thread class. Now if I am having T, I can call the methods of the thread class. Now isAlive is basically a method of the thread class, like the join method. Okay, now by calling the join methods, basically in the try block, I am making the main thread, that is the host thread to wait for other host threads to finish their work. That is a basic concept to be followed here. So in that way, I will be getting control over the threads. Like I'll be making the main method, that means the main thread, to be waiting for the other threads to finish. So that is the idea. So by using the join method like t1.t.join, I will be trying to fulfill my objective. Like by using this join method, I will be giving a signal to the main thread that you must wait for me before I finish my job. So that is the idea. So in that way, all the other threads, I mean to say the guest threads like T2, T3 and T4 will be using the join method. So in that way, they will be giving a signal to the main thread that you must wait for us to finish. Whenever we will be finishing, then will be the last thread to be ended in terms of this program execution. Now in this example, now I would like to see what is the status of a thread, and that can be done by using the isAlive method of the thread class. And join is basically, which is a method of the thread class, is having the interrupted exception. So it must be, it's a checked exception, so it must be dealt with properly. Like sleep is also having the interrupted exception. It is having the throws interrupted exception, this line to be included in the method signature of sleep and join. So that is why we must have the try catch block to properly handle it. Okay, so that is the idea. Now if I am trying to run this program, so now you will see main will be the last thread to be ended. There may be different output sequence in terms of the other threads execution. That means like whether you won't predict whether which of the guest threads will be finished fast, that you cannot predict. But here you are basically say making this main thread to be waiting for other threads to finish, and that is true for every run of the program. Like every time I'm running this program, it will be showing that main is the last thread to be ended. So it will be fixed if I am using the join method. So main will always be the last thread to be ended. But there might be different output sequence in terms of the other threads. I mean to say the guest threads, which are the user threads basically. But this line is fixed. It will be constant if I am to use the join method. Now I have already talked about the isAlive method. So it will be showing that this thread is alive. So if it is returning true, that means thread T1 is alive. So I can use this method for all these thread objects like user thread objects, but for understanding it is sufficient to associate with respect to one thread only. So that I have done here. So that is a thing. So now it is showing here true. That means the return type is boolean. So true means it is alive. Now for this one, whenever they have finished their task, that means they have already in dead state, I mean to say T1, T2, T3 and T4. So if I am calling this method again after these threads have already died, so it will be showing the value here false, because it is not considered to be a thread that will be in active thread, or I mean to say active state or new state or block state. It is basically in dead state, and whenever a thread is in dead state, you won't be able to start it again. So that is the idea. So it will be showing the result as false. Again it is returning boolean value. So either true if it is live, and if it is not alive, that means if it is dead, it will be showing the value false. So that is why we are getting the value false here. So that is the logic behind this program. So by using the joint method intelligently, I can make the main thread to be waiting for other host threads to be finish their execution, and by using isAlive method we will be knowing what is the status of the user thread, whether this particular thread is alive or not. If it is showing true, that means it is alive. If it is showing false, that means it is in dead state. So that is the idea. So I hope that you have understood the concept of Java multiple threads running together, and how can you gain control over the threads in terms of making the main thread to be waiting for other threads to finish or die, I would say. So that is a specialty of using join method with the combination of isAlive, that will be giving you the status of the current thread that is being executed in the JVM. So I hope that you have thoroughly watched this video, and if you like this video, then please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So here comes the URL of my YouTube channel, and please visit my website techguruSpeaks.com, and this is the official email ID, admin@techguruSpeaks.com. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.